We are building a house. We are building a house. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shemel Shai. I want to give double honor to the apostles of great milestone who do rule well. Salutations to the man of the hopeful and sincere elect. This is your brother Marcus from your Trinidad camp. Just want to, do a little lesson for the elect's sake. Alright, and as I said before, the name of the lesson is we are building a house. Alright, and as the scripture says, we are the kingdom of heaven. And we are building up that house, we're building up that kingdom. Alright, beginning with this ministry. Alright, which basically is, Yahweh Shemel Shai's house, which is Yahweh Shemel Shai's kingdom. But as the scripture says, we're going to be joint heir and we're going to sit in his throne. So basically, it stems down to be our kingdom, our house. All right? Because the reason why I said we are building a house, because let's say like a guy, he's building a house. He has a house, he needs a house, so he hires men to build the house. All right? Now, the men that building the house for him, they only doing it because they're going to receive a wage. They know at the end of the day, they're not going to live in the house. So therefore, they're not going to put, their heart and soul into building that house as much as a man that building the house for himself. Because he knows that he has to live in the house. So therefore, he will want all the measurements to be precise, all the edges to be perfectly lined, perfect levels, everything to be laid out perfect in that house, because at the end of the day, when he goes in the house, he wants to just look and be amazed and admire every aspect of that house. All right? And that's why we are building it, because the man that pays to build the house and the man that takes part in building the house for himself, the one that takes part in building it, he would appreciate it more than the one that just pays. Let's say a rich man just pays to get a house built and he has the money. If something, happens to the house, he'd feel it, but, it wouldn't bother him that much because he knows he could just pay to build another one. But let's say a poor man, he save up some money and he building this house for himself. He sweat, he toiled, he bled while building this house. He made sure all the door frames, they were perfectly leveled. The tiles were straight. Everything was good. All the edges by the walls, they were perfectly lined. The walls wasn't wavy. Everything was good. The paint, everything, everything was perfect. He making sure everything perfect in this house, so that the last bit of that house, you would know that guy would stand and he will watch the house and smile and like, yes, I did this. He's impressed. He's amazed, and he appreciates the house more than the man that simply paid for it. And also, he would appreciate it more than the laborers that worked to build this house. And there's a reason why we are building together with Yahweh Shai. So we would appreciate the kingdom of heaven, as the scripture says, the way was made narrow. All right? And such was Israel's portion. So we have to go through the hard and vain things to come into the large, to appreciate the things in the large. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 1, it says, we then as workers together with him beseech you also that you receive not the grace of Yahweh in vain. Don't receive the grace of the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai in vain. All right? Don't receive it in vain, because we workers together with him. So don't start out building this house and then, you get fired. And then guess what? You're not going to have a room in the house. So your labor went in vain. The scripture said the Lord will not forget your labor of love towards his name. All right? We are building together with him to build up the kingdom of Israel, our kingdom. So therefore, we would appreciate it. And we have to appreciate it, because every time we go out and do the works of the Lord, and we do these lessons, We have to show forth as though we're doing this lesson and this work because it also benefiting us. Not simply because we are unprofitable servants. And guess what? That is like when you helping your father build a house. Now guess what? Your father not gonna pay you to help build that house, because at the end of the day, you're gonna live in that house. So when everybody else might be getting a wage, you wouldn't get a wage because your wage is a room in that house. All right? And you might think, well, because I'm not getting a wage, I'm not gonna put that much effort into it. By the end of the day, you're also gonna live in the house. So it's the same aspect. We also gonna live in that kingdom, in that house with Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That is the reason why we are unprofitable servants now, because at the end is when we're gonna receive that glorious crown. So therefore, labor, as the scripture says, working with your hands. Put forth all your might into serving Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right? Don't receive this in vain. All right? This is 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 12. It says, yea, and all that will live godly in Mashiach Yahushai shall suffer persecution. And that persecution is the sweat and blood that you're going to go through in this truth. All right? You're catching hell in this truth. And that is like you building up a house in the hot sun, in the rain, in the cold. All right? Sometimes you might have to put in some hours. You're tired. And that is all the toil that you have to go through in building up this house. Because at the end of the day, this house benefiting you. This work that you're doing in the ministry, it benefits you. You doing this work for your salvation, to receive at the end the crown, the kingdom, and the glory. This is for you. You have to remember that. This is for you. It's not for nobody else. This is for you. All right? This is for you. Just like we catch hell throughout all the years. We went through different slavery. That is us coming through the years, catching hell to build up this house. And then, in church, they tell you that the heathens, these nations, they're going to be partakers of us. So all this hell I was catching for these nations to just come in the end and, receive our room in this house, that don't make sense. And guess what? That is not what the Lord doing. You catching hell, you toiling in the sun, all right? You sweating, you bleeding for this house because this is your house. All right? So put forward your best foot when it comes to doing the work of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. This is Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12. Then I'll start at verse 9. It says, there remaineth therefore a rest to the people of Yahweh. Yeah, there remain a rest. So you're going to get a rest from building the house. It says, for he that entered into his rest, he also had ceased from his own works. So the work ain't done yet. For Yahweh did from his, as Yahweh did from his. It says, let us labor therefore to enter into that rest. Labor, you have to build this house. When you build the house, then you rest in the house. All right, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief. So you have to build the house first, then rest. How are you gonna do? Rest under the sky on a stone? No, you're resting in your own bed in that house that you're building right now, in the kingdom of Israel, kingdom of Hamalakwat Yashala. All right, that is the way we're doing. We're building the kingdom for us. So therefore, put forward your best foot. We are building a house. We are building this kingdom. So therefore, we would appreciate it more in the end. We would appreciate more the things that the Lord done for us in the end. All right? And we wouldn't go off again. Not only that the Lord gonna put us into a new body, but guess what? We're gonna appreciate the things that He doing for us because we actually labored alongside Him to build this house. All right. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 9. It says, for we are laborers together with Yahweh. All right. Lord laboring together. Guess what? He sweat, he bled for this truth. All right? It says, we are laborers together with Yahweh. Ye are Yahweh's husbandry. Ye are Yahweh's building. So we are the building. We are the kingdom of heaven. All right? So we are being built up together with him. All right? It says, according to the grace of Yahweh which is given unto me, a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another builded thereupon. And let every man take heed how he builded thereupon. For other foundations can no man lay than that is laid. All right? So you have to build on this foundation, which is Mashiach. It says, if any man build upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest. So you're going to be made manifest how you was doing your work in this truth. If you was playing around, if you was pulling stones, if you was basically not trying to put forth your might to make sure this work goes smoothly, if you was basically just watching men work and not working. All right? It says, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire. All right, and that is the tribulations that we catch in. It says, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. And if any man's work abide, which he had built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. It says, if any man's work shall be burnt, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet also by fire. So the main point is, it says, if any man's work shall abide, which he had built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. Yeah, you're going to receive a room in this house. You're going to receive a spot in the kingdom of heaven. So you laboring to enter into that rest, because you building this house for yourself. And therefore you would appreciate it more, because you actually taking part in it and not just overseeing the building of this house. You taking part in it. You know all the runnings are wrong about the house, because you know how everything was laid from the foundation to the ridge on the roof. You were there. You were part of it. Your name will be etched in it as the founding fathers of the kingdom of heaven, as long as you maintain good works and remain building this house. All right? You would appreciate it more. All right? This is the final precept here. This is the book of John, chapter 10 and verse 11. It says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. It says, but he that is an hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them and scattereth the sheep. Now, yeah, so just because you might be thinking, well, you know, why gain for all this service, you know, doing all this work, you know, I'm not receiving any pay, then guess what? You're not gonna put forth your might. But if you believe that you're gonna receive in the end the kingdom of heaven from Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, then guess what? You're gonna put your life on the line, just like Yahweh Shai did for the sheep, and do all things for the elect's sake. You're gonna put your life on the line also, like Yahweh Shai did, because you know that, guess what? You're doing this for you. It says the hireling fled because he's an hireling and cared not for the sheep. So yeah, by you not, you know, putting forth your best foot to push this truth, you showing yourself as an hireling, and not the basically like an inhabitant of the land, or an inhabitant of the house. All right. It says, I am the good shepherd. Right? It says, I am the good shepherd, and I know my sheep, and am known of mine. All right. So we know Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, and he knows us. So therefore, because we know that we're going to be partakers with it, we put in forth our best foot onto pushing this word, because we are not just simple hirelings. All right. We are heirs. So therefore, we have to sweat and bleed for this truth. All right. And the time might come, our life might be required of it. All right. So therefore, we have to labor also. All right. Put forward your best foot. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. I give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and do rule well. Salutations to the man of the hopeful and sincere elect. This is your brother Marcus from a Trinidad camp saying Shalom and stay strong. Shalom.